runners ran hard, and the guys up front are starting to get it. There at the end, I thought we wore on them pretty good. Obviously, that last fourth down, you know, they were out of timeouts. Once we broke into the open, it's a teachable moment. Obviously, you'd want them to go down right there because at that time, the clock situation, there wasn't, there was no way that they could have stopped the clock, and we could have knelt on it without them ever touching the ball. And yet, those are teachable moments, and we'll get that handled. Hopefully, we're not in that situation. Hopefully, we're just winning, right, and not having to worry about it. So, but things like that to come up, those are always fun to talk about and fun to teach from. And you know, there at the end, after I saw Eddie's attempt on the first one with the ball in the paint and his left foot gave out, we just felt at that time we could have pinned him down. Obviously, didn't have a good punt, but as it is, it worked out. Yeah, when he planted and it went about 10 yards, that wasn't very good. So, but our guys responded, and we did a pretty decent job in the red zone, I thought. And let's get ready. Let's go enjoy this. You guys enjoy it. You got me? It's fun to win. And then we'll get a chance to put a plan together and get back in the swamp next week. Go ahead.
How much?
All right, Gary Johnson, 13 minutes away for Kentucky, Eastern Michigan. We'll talk that game when we return on SEC Now.
I started volunteering just because I felt kind of like a duty or obligation to just start serving people and just get to see a different side of life that people don't experience unless they, you know, go out and search for it. I do spend a lot of time doing other things as far as like football and academics. You know, having free time is always great, but anytime I get a chance to use my free time to help others, lights me up with joy and happiness, and that's the feeling that I get out of it whenever I serve.
If you want in the playoff, you got to win the SEC. Whoa! Whew. So who's in? Whoa, it's going to be a crazy season.
The college football playoff on ESPN.
So who's in?
Hi,
Let's say you want to watch your favorite shows, but you don't have your TV handy. Well, thanks to Spectrum, you could take your TV with you with TV Everywhere. So you could bring your favorite shows and movies with you wherever you go. What are you doing?
Bringing my TV everywhere.
Download your favorite channel apps on your Apple and Android devices and take your TV everywhere.
I brought one for you.
Good.
I don't know if I can bring it back.
It's not just a donation.
It's a warm blanket.
It's a bottle of clean water.
It's a roof and a bed.
It's knowing someone cares.
It's feeling safe.
It's a today that's better than yesterday.
Every dollar you can spare helps so much more than you can imagine. Please donate now to help people affected by Hurricane Harvey. Your support is urgently needed.
Now, this young man, good QBR on the season, 9th in FBS, 81.6. Chris Dory and Gene Chizik. What do we expect to see from him?
I want to see them come out with some focus. You know, it's difficult after the heartbreaking loss against Florida last week. I'd like to see him start fast. I don't know that that's possible given the heartache that they probably were feeling after the game, but he's certainly a guy as a senior that can lead him in that direction.
I thought he played the best game he's played last week in terms of accuracy, without question.
And hopefully he can find this. The tight end position continues to be one of those that gets more and more use here in the SEC, kind of like the NFL. C.J. Conrad, 3 touchdown catches this season.
Yeah, I think when you find a tight end, especially in college football, I think it's probably the most underutilized position in college football. This guy can go. I mean, you saw him a couple weeks ago against Eastern Kentucky. He gave him a spark on a touchdown catch. I think he's an extremely talented tight end. I don't think colleges use tight ends enough.
Only 59 yards last week against that Florida Gators defense, and he kind of struggled the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
How did they get this guy going?
We've talked a little earlier about the drop-off in production from Webb at Vanderbilt. Kind of a similar situation for Benny Snell as well. I like when they get him in the Wildcat. I think the Wildcat does a couple different things, allows him to run downhill, and it puts the emphasis on that offensive line to get some push up front at the line of scrimmage.
Defense trying to get in there. They've held 3 of their last 4 opponents under 100 yards rushing. You see Josh Allen, a couple of sacks, trying to get some pressure. They should be able to get it. They should outmatch Eastern Michigan up front at least, Coach.
Yeah, I like this guy. You know, he's number 2 in the league in sacks. He's got 4 on the year. I just think he's extremely active. Somebody, obviously, with Jordan Jones gone, somebody's got to be the guy, the bell cow, that can spark some excitement and some passion. This guy can definitely do it. He's an explosive guy. He's going to need to show up tonight.
What are you telling your guys? I mean, after last week, I know you're excited to get back onto the field so you don't have to talk about the Florida game anymore.
In one case, you're happy to get that taste out of your mouth, but at the same time, I said it last night on our show, if he's able to get these guys up with some energy, then that'll be his greatest coaching accomplishment of the season, because that was devastating loss, not only for the players, but the entire team and fan base.
Let's check in on Nate Northington, who broke the SEC color barrier on the field. There it is, 50 years ago today, Nate Northington, Houston Hogg, Wilbur Hackett, really kind of changing everything that we know here in not only just the SEC guys, but college football in general.
This is awesome. This is awesome that people are going to commemorate and realize what a special time this was 50 years ago. It's incredible, and just what a great thing to see in college football. We should always be celebrating things like this.
Yeah.
And our jewel of the Bluegrass
Listen in.
twirler and 2016 national champion, Miranda Van Hoosen. Ladies and gentlemen, your University of Kentucky Wildcat Marching Band.
Big Blue Nation, please join me in welcoming today's honorary captain. This is Nate Northington. Nate, we are so proud to have you here as we celebrate the 50th anniversary of you breaking the SEC color barrier. In addition, we want to welcome Lexington Mayor Jim Gray. Mayor Gray is presenting Nate with a proclamation naming today as officially Nate Northington Day here in Lexington. Big Blue Nation, today's honorary captain, Nate Northington.
History right there. We're going to show a little bit more great feature about Nate and what he did at halftime today. So, amazing way. Nate Northington Day out in Lexington. We'll talk more about the game coming up. 6 minutes, so kickoff.
So you love your game? So does he. You say ain't nobody gonna work harder? He said the same thing. You get an hour of training in before the sun even comes up, plenty of early risers out there. You got the gear, they got the gear. You got a secret weapon, this dude doesn't need one. See, this isn't just a game of inches, this is a game of ounces. And the next ounce you give might just be the one the other guy doesn't. Gatorade, rehydrate, replenish, and refuel.
My name is Scott Jordan. I'm the CEO and founder of ScottyVest. ScottyVest is a company I formed 16 years ago to solve a problem. I had all my gadgets and devices and no easy way to carry them. At ScottyVest, we make great-looking clothing for both men and women with tons of unique features, like clear touch pockets, RFID blocking, the patented personal area network, and so much more. ScottyVest will fundamentally change the way you think about clothing and the way you live your life. So, whether you're a traveler, a busy parent, or just love gadgets, I know that once you try ScottyVest, you're going to come back for more. So, start now with over 50 different items beyond just vest, from shirts to pants to hoodies and jackets. ScottyVest will change your life. Find us on Amazon or visit ScottyVest.com. For a limited time, use promo code SCOTT to save 20% off your first order.
Well, the Gators have had some good luck this season, but also a little bit of bad luck today. Luke Del Rio in the second quarter goes down on one of those surgically repaired shoulders, and Coach McElwain said today, Chris Doering, that he will be in surgery on Monday and going to be out for the rest of the season. What does this do for the Gators moving forward?
Well, first of all, just heartbroken for that kid after going through what he did, rehab on both shoulders in the offseason, trying to get healthy, and now feeling you have a chance to redeem yourself from last year. For it to end so quickly is really sad for him. But I thought this was an offense that was starting to hit its stride with him at the quarterback in the into the third and fourth quarter against Kentucky. They had some rhythm. Today had control of the offense early on, but he goes down. Now you're in a situation where you have Felipe Franks in there. The thing I'm concerned about for them is your backup quarterback situation. You know you're only one play away from having to go to that next guy, and Malik Zaire did not look good against Michigan when he had that opportunity.
No, he didn't. And again, you know, the positive that you have to pull from this, because I'm like you, I hate seeing that happen to a kid. But moving forward, that's what Jim McElwain in Florida has to do. So the way that Felipe Franks came in and responded when he had to, the way the team embraced him and said, hey, we got your back.
There's something to that, right? I've seen that before where you have a couple of different options. Nobody really rises up. But then all of a sudden, when you're really the only guy, because I think it's clear Malik Zaire wasn't ready, you kind of have to live up to it, I think. And that's what Felipe did in the second half.
Well, he said it. When you listen to his interview after the game, he said, man, my teammates really got around me. That had to happen, and it did happen. And I'm going to tell you this, too. Defensively, they got to step up to the plate. Yeah. But, hey, they found a running back. I'm telling you right now, Malik, this is where they got to rely on a running game to come into fruition. Malik Davis is the dude. Okay. Give him the rock.
And to tag your point there, they ran the ball 50 times today, so they didn't ask Felipe to win the game on his own. That time of possession control in the football certainly helped benefit him, too.
We might have to see Benny Snell run the ball 50 times today. And I think that'd be awesome because we want to see Benny Snell have that success. Overall kind of final thoughts as we get ready for kickoff there in Lexington.
I think Kentucky is an ascending football team. I think they should be 4-0. I don't think anybody can argue that. No. So what Mark's got to do is make sure that after this game they can still say we're an ascending football team. What Steven Johnson did, Darren Henshaw, the quarterback coach, has done a phenomenal job developing him week by week. I thought he threw some strikes in there last week, CD, that were right on the money. I think he's growing as a football player, throwing the ball. We know he can run it. Benny Snell's got, look, 2 weeks ago against South Carolina, he ran for over 100. He's got to get back to that. And if he'll do that, they'll be fine.
Yeah, kind of. You see Nate Northington right there. On Nate Northington Day, 50 years ago today, broke the SEC color barrier, one of the honorary team captains today.
Pretty cool, man.
It is. To see how we continue to move forward, not only in the SEC, but just throughout the United States. All right, what do you want to see?
Well, part of what Coach said here is a team that's ascending. Well, if you're an ascending team and you're mature,
yeah.
You show up and play. You don't play to the level of competition. You don't let the outside distractions keep you from
playing. And the hangover of last week in that stadium.
So that's what I want to see. Coach Stoops talked in the offseason about expanded capacity. That's pushing yourself on the practice field, pushing yourself in the classroom. Can they come out with that maturity that you need? If you're going to be an elite football team in this conference, you don't let teams hang around. Eastern Michigan has a good defense. Their offense is not great, but their defensive front is good, and their secondary plays really well. It'll be a challenge.
All teams should be nameless and faceless. Play the same way every week, and if they'll do that, they'll continue to be an ascending football.
Did you go Game of Thrones on me? The lady, the girl with no face? That's impressive, Coach.
Maybe so.
5 different players tried at center this week. Something to look at in this game. Dari and those guys will talk about it at half. Dave Neal, Matt Stinchcomb, take it away.
Thank you very much, Peter Burns. It is a gorgeous day. Couldn't ask for a better football Saturday here in the Commonwealth. From Kroger Field in Lexington, 2 teams that are trying to get it back together after tough losses. Kentucky at 3-1, Eastern Michigan at 2-1. The Eagles losing in double overtime to Ohio last weekend. And we'll talk about Kentucky in a matter of moments. And a pleasant good afternoon, everybody. I'm Dave Neal. This is Matt Stinchcomb, the former Georgia All-American. Dawn Davenport's on the sidelines. We'll hear from her in a matter of moments. But I'll tell you what, Stinch, listen, there are so many words you could use to describe what happened to Kentucky last week, losing 28-27 to the Florida Gators. But one of the words that they don't want to hear is debilitating. They got to get over this, and they got to get over it quickly. How do they go about it?
Well, the best way to address the pain that would come from the continuance of that streak and losing to Florida for the 31st time is purpose. And they have a purpose this week in that they had a matchup versus Eastern Michigan, a team and a game to prepare for. And you see their ability to pass 3 years to have success after what could be a debilitating loss. To avoid that, you can't allow Florida to beat you twice in a year. You have to come out and take care of business the following Saturday. Kentucky's been able to do just that.
Well, one of these teams is going to feel a lot better leaving here after 2 tough Saturdays a week ago. Eastern Michigan won the toss. They defer, so Kentucky will get the football first. And that'll be a touchback out to the 25-yard line. One guy that has certainly impressed this year is their quarterback, Steven Johnson. Another pretty solid game last week.
Solid's the perfect adjective for Steven Johnson, because when you watch him, nothing really jumps off of the film. It's not as if it's an arm strength or an accuracy thing. He's a good runner. He's mobile enough. But in this offense, their production has centered on the decision-making of their quarterback. Steven Johnson dealing with a lot of pass tags on their run calls. RPOs, a very big part of the Kentucky offense.
Well, we'll see if Kentucky can get off to a quick start here at home. Johnson to throw on first down. That one is knocked out of his hands. The beanbag comes out. Eastern Michigan says they haven't loose football. No whistle. Finally, down at the 20-yard line, and the Eagles have the first big play of this game on the opening play. Jeremiah Harris came in to force the fumble, and Deion Dawson came up with it, and it looks as though Johnson is trying to shake off some pain on that right side.
It looks like he may have injured his throwing shoulder. And you see, working at left tackle versus Landon Young, and Jeremiah Harris does a great job of hatcheting that football out of Johnson's arms as he's trying to deliver. Kentucky was going to take a shot downfield on the first play of the game. They've done this before, did it versus Louisville last year in the season finale, and it ignited the offense. This time, backfiring. Great pass rush from the blind side by Jeremiah Harris. And it's about a start as you could have for Kentucky.
Short field for the Eagles. They will throw to the end zone. The first play, touchdown. Are you kidding me? 20 yards, and Eastern Michigan leads it 6-0. A super throw from a very experienced quarterback in Brogan Roback, and you can add another touchdown pass to his career totals.
It's so dangerous on a quick change. Defense gets out there quickly. The offense had just been on the field, and that's an opportunity. And the offenses have to take advantage of it. Short field position. And Brogan Roback, a veteran at quarterback, throws a strike. And the Eagles have stunned Kentucky here in the opening.
Roback with his 3rd touchdown pass this season for Sergio Bailey, his 2nd touchdown reception of the year. And Eastern Michigan, a team that went to a bowl game last year, finished up 7-6, gets on the board first.
Sergio Bailey is going to be a prominent target in this passing game all game long. No one would have thought he'd have gotten out that quickly, though. And this is where it got started. You know, Kentucky, they want to throw a haymaker right out of the gate. Protection breaks down off a play action fake. They wanted to catch the Eagles trying to play run first. And instead, they get an excellent pass rush on a second effort from Jeremiah Harris. And not just a turnover, but perhaps an injury to the throwing arm of Steven Johnson.
Yeah, we'll see if Johnson's able to come back out, or will we see Drew Barker, who has certainly taken a bunch of snaps here at Kentucky over the years. Here's the kick again. This is another good one into the corner of the end zone, and that'll be a touchback after the 25-yard line. And let's see if Steven Johnson is able to come out and run the show offensively.
And we just got done talking about, Dave, how important Steven Johnson has been to this offense. And a lot of it has been the decision making because of the fact that they need him to read what the defense is doing after the snap. Obviously heading back out on the football field now, but we'll have to definitely keep an eye on how that right arm of Steven Johnson performs.
They'll go inside handoff to Snell, and he'll get it out to the 30. As we take a look at today's starting lineups, brought to you by Jimmy John's. Of course, Benny Snell, they'd love to get him cranked up to the level he was a year ago. How do they go about doing that?
Well, you know, he's getting the same amount of touches just about. You know, the difficulty is that they had a Boom Williams to kind of complement the thumper that is Benny Snell. And it seems like Saheem King might be that change-up pitch out of the backfield.
Little toss sweep near side. And Snell will take it close to the 35. Be about a yard shy of the first down line. Max Crosby making the stop for Eastern Michigan. A good defensive team. They only allow 15.7 points a game. These are two teams that are kind of built very similar.
Yeah, the defenses both have kind of paced each of these teams. You know, the offense is still trying to figure out what they're going to be best at this year. Obviously, Kentucky wanting to get the ground game going.
So on third down, they'll go inside handoff to Snell, and they'll pick it up and move the chains. Boy, they were very tough. 1 of 10 on third downs last week against Florida. Let's go downstairs and visit for the first time this afternoon with Dawn Davenport.
Well, Dave, I talked to several Kentucky players. They said after that loss to Florida, this was the toughest week that they have ever had to deal with. C.J. Conrad, junior tight end, said Sunday was brutal. He admitted that, but he knew that they had to move on Monday and get ready for this game. How would they respond? I talked to head coach Mark Stoops right before the game, and he said he liked their energy. They didn't mention that game. It was business as usual in the locker room prior to this game. Guys, that is going to be tested right now.
No doubt about it, but a couple of broken tackles from Lynn Bowden, the true freshman who they thought this week might add a little bit to his repertoire, and off to a good start with a pickup of 13.
They're really excited about number 1, and they should be. Well, he's a guy that can make you right no matter what. A little bit of a high pitch out there. Bowden does a good job of corralling the pass and making the first tackler miss. He's been excellent at that, very evasive with the ball in his hands.
So from right at the midfield stripe, first down and 10. Johnson will sling it out to the far side. Garrett Juice Johnson out to the 43-yard line. He will pick up 8, and that gives us an opportunity to take at today's Keys to the Game, brought to you by Lending Tree.
Well, Eastern Michigan, defensively, they're not going to do a lot of exotic looks. They don't bring pressure very often, but they're going to make you earn your way down the football field. And for Kentucky, it's simple. They just got to get the snap from center. It is undone several of their efforts offensively. The shotgun snaps have been an adventure so far this year for Kentucky.
Big hole. That'll be a first down as Benny Snell brought down by Ike Spearman. Gain of 7, and Snell trying to get some juice in the building.
Well, he's the guy that could be the focal point of the offense. Hasn't really had to be so far this year. And you mentioned, how do you get him going? Part of it was early on in the season, Eddie Grand, the offensive coordinator and also running backs coach, said Benny Snell was a little impatient, wasn't setting up his blocks as much, approaching the line of scrimmage too quickly. The past 2 games have been better for him.
Saheem King, his first carry of the game to the 30-yard line, picks up 5. Well, it's apparent that Kentucky really wants to try to ground it out between the tackles right now.
Well, you come out and you want to try to hit one over top of the defense. You almost injure your quarterback. You give the ball to your opponent in the red zone just about. You get back to something far more conservative, but that can still put together a nice long drive. And so far, Kentucky's second possession has been just that.
7 plays, 5 have been via the run. Here comes some pressure from the outside. Kentucky picks it up. They'll have an opportunity, but a little bit too far out in front of Blake Bone. But there is a flag down on this Kroger Field turf.
Looks like they're going to get a defensive holding call probably on Bone. Couldn't come out of his break. He's a guy they need to step up at his receiver spot.
Holding, defense, 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Steve Marlowe, well, we will hear his voice this afternoon, hopefully not a whole lot.
You see Bone, and obviously right away, Kevin McGill, he had him wrapped up. He was trying to come out of his break, physical at the top of his route, just couldn't get loose. McGill far too handsy.
Over the middle, pass is caught. That'll be a Kentucky touchdown. From 20 yards out, Greg Hart, the senior out of Dayton, Ohio, with the touchdown grab.
Yes, Greg Hart was saying, I'm sick of C.J. Conrad getting all the touchdown throws, man. We get down to the red zone. Can I get a target for once? Coming into the game, they don't usually seek to hit number 85. C.J. Conrad, typically at his tight end position, gets most of the attention. And Greg Hart able to get the Wildcats into the end zone.
Austin McGinnis, point after, is up and good. And boy, that is how you answer an early Eastern Michigan touchdown.
And motion Hart across the formation, and then he just kind of slides out, gets lost. They use tight ends to block quite a bit, but clearly big weapons in the passing game.
Anyone can get you ready. Holiday Inn Express gets you the readiest, because ready gives a pep talk. Showtime. But the readiest gives a pep rally.
Holiday Inn Express. Be the readiest.
Hi. I'm the one clocking in when you're clocking out, sensing your every move and automatically adjusting to help you stay effortlessly comfortable. There. I can also help with this. Does your bed do that? Oh, I don't actually talk, though I'm smart enough to. I'm the new Sleep Number 360 Smart Bed. Let's meet at a Sleep Number store.
Mom, I just saved a lot of money on my car insurance by switching to GEICO.
I should take a closer look at GEICO.
You know GEICO can help you save money on your homeowner's insurance, too?
Great. GEICO can help insure a mountain chalet.
How long have we been sawing this log?
114 years.
Man, I thought my arm would be a lot more jacked by now.
I'm not even sure this is real wood.
There's no butter in this churn.
Do my tries look okay?
Take a closer look at GEICO. Great savings and a whole lot more.
I'm Jimmy. This is my definition of fresh since 1983.
At Regions Bank, we're here to help you move your life forward. But managing money can be tough. That's why sometimes we bring in a little extra help.
It's only $1,500.
Mm-hmm.
I'll use it this time, I promise.
Sure.
$1,500 for a soon-to-be very expensive doorstop probably isn't the best investment.
Exactly.
Look, you don't need fancy equipment to get in shape. Check out my personal program at TeboFlex.com.
You should do whatever he's doing.
It's free. Check it out.
Regions, official bank of the SEC.
SEC Network Football is brought to you by Dr. Pepper, the one fans crave.
Some outstanding tailgating going on before kickoff today, and a great day for it, too. Cold front came through last night. Breeze picked up a little bit, but you didn't sweat one time today. I'm very proud of you. There's a guy that was sweating, though, after that opening play offensively. Turned into a turnover, but Mark Stoops, now in his 5th season, perhaps his best group of guys. I mean, they finally have some depth on both sides of the ball.
Not only from a talent standpoint, chemistry-wise as well. You know, he talked about the mentality of this team, what he's got in his locker room, and how it translates to the field. You can tell it's been a slow build for this program, but he likes where the trajectory is pointed.
Don't forget, coming up at 7:30 Eastern time tonight, it's our SEC Saturday night game. Texas A&M will host South Carolina. It'll be right here on the SEC Network. Catch that streaming live on the ESPN app as well. Texas A&M has won all 3 meetings with South Carolina since that series began with the Gamecocks back in 2014.
That's an interesting game, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, given where both of those teams are from an injury standpoint, the post-Debo Samuel games for South Carolina, what does that look like?
Well, here is Brogan Roback. His one and only play was a 20-yard touchdown pass to start this game for Eastern Michigan offensively. He'll roll out and complete another one for 9 yards. That one goes to Bailey, his target on the touchdown reception. But coaches, you talk to this Kentucky staff, and they think this guy is legit.
Well, he was the first 4-star in the program, as mentioned, a really highly touted guy out of high school. More than anything else, though, they love the fact that he's a team-first type of a player. Even though he is probably one of the most talented on that roster, recognizes the opportunity to distribute the football and does so. 12 different receivers last week versus Ohio.
Sets up Eastern Michigan short and about a yard. Trying to run it to the right side, and Kentucky is there to make the play. That'll be a loss of a yard, maybe two. Eli Brown comes crashing in to make the play for the Cats.
Well, this is something that Matt House, defensive coordinator for Kentucky, likes to do. He'll crash his linebackers into the line of scrimmage at the snap. Eli Brown and Courtney Love from their linebacking spots were both kind of sugared up in those A-gaps on either side of center Dakota Tallman. That allows them to get upfield quickly and create a negative yardage play.
Pass is caught right at the line to make, and they're going to actually give him a favorable spot, so that'll be a first down. Pickup of 2.5.
See, working against Chris Westry initially, and you see sliding down is Darius West from his safety position. Take another look at that spot.
Luplau got right to the line.
And obviously, Eastern Michigan wanted to jump the football and get it snapped, and they did. Replay wanted to take another look at it. It always seems to come right at the last second, right? You want to build intrigue.
The ruling on the field is a reception and a first down. The previous play is under further review.
I think it certainly warrants that when you're talking about a line to make, extend this possession. You see West come through that tackle, and Newplow clearly secures the catch. The question is, where is this football? And it looks like it would never advance beyond the 35-yard line. Darius West, his name came up a couple of times yesterday in those meetings. They like what they're getting out of him. That's a solid tackle. And to me, it looks like prevents Newplow from getting far enough up the field to convert there.
I never saw any part of his body get across the 35-yard line.
Good point. Yeah.
So that would set up. Now you got to, go back and obviously reset the clock and spot the ball again and reset the down markers. And Doug Linebarger, our replay official here in stadium, of course. There is the command center, video replay center, I should say, back in Birmingham.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. First down.
I was surprised at that, because to me it did look, it was a good point that you made, Dave, that it did not appear that even his body had advanced beyond the 35-yard line, much less the ball. It was facing the opposite direction. Regardless, the big pickup for Eastern Michigan. Offensively, they mentioned wanting to get a little bit more of their running back position. They feel like they can get that accomplished. And of course, they like the strength of their offense on that right side of their line. They've had a one-play drive already and able to extend this one on a big third down conversion.
So that will go out to the 40-yard line. Gain of 5. Erickson on that carry. Tell you what, they're good. When you talk about Eastern Michigan, there's a guy that has worked his way up the coaching ladder. He's coached at just about every level there is in college football. But Chris Creighton, just an engaging guy in general. And he has taken this program from the depths of despair to a bowl game last year. That's a quick hitter to the outside. Westry will push out Bailey, but that'll be a 7-yard pickup and enough for the first down. But you could see how this team could jump on his bandwagon.
He's an inspiring guy. I mean, you can tell that he's got a process that he wants to employ and has done so at other stops. And it's taken some time. They went from 2-10 to 1-11 his second year, but were able to get bowl eligible with 7-win regular season last year.
Working it off the right side. Pick up 3. Erickson stopped by Denzel Ware. But, 2014 when he took over this program, just 2 wins, took a step back to 1-11, but last year was kind of an experienced club. They had a quarterback that was experienced, and you know, going to a bowl game does wonders for him, for your team and him. Certainly getting not only the players, but the university supporting you a little bit more.
Just to prove that you can get there. They hadn't been to a bowl game in 29 years before last year's show up when they made it to the Bahama Bowl.
And in fact, that was the first winning season since 1995, and as you said, first bowl game since '87. Digest those for a moment.
I mean, and it's not like Chris Creighton hadn't been there before. You know, there was no panic. You could tell even when he was talking about where they were in their process. He said we went from 2-10 to 1-11, and we had the best offseason we'd ever had. He knew that it was just an eventuality before he got the Eagles where he wanted them. It was a big opportunity for Kentucky to get this stop. The Eagles have struggled on third down this season.
Roback will throw it incomplete to Sergio Bailey, and that'll bring up a 4th down situation. And for Eastern Michigan, you mentioned those third downs. They're just a tick over 32%.
And this is something that we'll see a lot of Eastern Michigan today. That throw right there. They like to throw fades. He's throwing to a spot, and he's expecting a receiver to be able to adjust to the ball in the air, something that Kentucky talked about all week long. They're concerned about back shoulder fades and the adjustment that the Eagle receivers could make. That time, excellent coverage, staying on top of the route.
Well, Charles Walker back to return this punt for Kentucky, averaging 21.5 yards per punt return, 5th in the country with those numbers. A 36-yard punt, no return. Back to Lexington right after this.
Today's SEC game ended on an incredible play.
All right, who's ready for some ice cream? It's our post-game ritual.
Honey, he's had a long day.
Yeah.
We've got ice cream. Ice cream.
Who's ready for the post-game ice cream? Dad?
Honey, he's had a long day.
It's true. Fans are craving Dr. Pepper more than ever. So I've assembled a team. They're not exactly 5 stars, but they've got spirit. We'll be at tailgate, the cheap seats, love seats. If you're craving Dr. Pepper, we'll be there. We'll be everywhere. Me up there. And yes, we are taking walk-ons.
I'm in.
Doug Flutie? Flutie's in! Let's go, Dr. Pepper, hip! Here's a boys' medium.
That'll work.
You don't think it'll happen to you, and you surely don't think it'll happen twice. I've lost 2 homes in my lifetime. First, it was a fire. My agent was right there and helped me rebuild. Then the tornado hit and destroyed everything again. Both times, my independent agent and auto owners took care of me like someone takes care of family.
For whatever lies ahead, we're always there. Auto Owners Insurance.
Dory Noka in studio as we are updating you on Georgia and Tennessee. Dogs already up 3-0. Jake Fromm, nice throw on the money to Javon Wims. 10-zip, Georgia football, late first, guys.
Good to hear your voice, Dory. Thanks for the update. And I'll tell you what, Georgia is, you know, every snap, every game looks like they're getting a little bit better, and they started in a pretty good place.
Yeah, they look to me right now in the East Division, that's probably the best. That's the best team as far as what we've seen for the body of work. It might be the elite squad out of that side of the conference.
Steven Johnson, 3 out of 3 on that last drive that produced a Kentucky touchdown. Off left side to Benny Snell. And for more on Johnson, let's go to the sidelines and Dawn.
Well, Dave, he took that big hit earlier. His arm shoulder seems to be fine. No treatment being done. You know, he's been working to put on weight since last season to help him sustain hits like that. He eats, get this, 4,500 calories, 790 grams of carbs, 80 grams of fat, 4 or 5 meals a day, plus snacks, and he's still doing it daily during the season. Said it's tough to handle, but he started at 175. He's now 195.
To the 20 goes Snell, but very similar to what Matt Stinchcomb handles during the course of a day. You're going to tell me you didn't put down 4,000 calories yesterday?
I wasn't counting, Dave. I'm amazed that you were. Why don't you enjoy your own meal, pal? Over there weighing my food.
It was a clinic yesterday.
I don't know how they figured that out. It's appropriate, though, that they're at Kroger Field, right? That guy needs a lot of groceries.
You were awesome yesterday. At lunch and dinner. Here's Johnson, has time, and it finally collapses. And did he lose the football in the process? They'll call it the sack, but he holds on. Max Crosby able to come in and make the play, the sophomore. A loss of 4.
Here's Crosby right here, and they're kind of in those cat stances. They get nice and low. It looks almost like Simeon Rice. Boy, he's got hands all up in the face of Kyle Meadows. But regardless, a strong finish to the end of the rush. And offensive line coach John Schlarman was talking about how these defensive ends, you know, they're not the type of guys that are going to jump off the film at you, but they stay working. They're very active, and we've seen twice now on either ends able to get to the quarterback.
Matt Patton will punt it away, and it is taken by Doherty. He is wrapped up at the 41, a 41-yard punt. We are tied at 7 here in Lexington.
Remember that accident I got in with the pole and I had to make a claim and all that? Is that whole thing still dragging on? No, I took some pics with the app and filed a claim. But you know how they send you money to cover repairs and...
It took forever to pay you, right?
No, I got paid right away. But at the very end of it all, my agent wouldn't even call you back, right? No, she called to see if I was happy. But if I wasn't happy with my claim experience, for any reason, they'd give me my money back. No questions asked. Can you believe that? No.
The Claim Satisfaction Guarantee, only from Allstate. Switching to Allstate is worth it.
Hope you're ready for another SEC Saturday night. Jake Bentley, he has re-energized the team, the offense.
That's Christian Kirk. He might go.
SEC Saturday Night, presented by Holiday Inn Express, South Carolina, Texas A&M. Tonight at 7:30 on the SEC Network.
Early detection of lung cancer can increase your chances of survival by nearly 50%. The real risk is not knowing. Schedule your lung cancer screening today.
It's the Truck Month 10 event at Paul Miller Ford. Find the best deals on vehicles across the Ford lineup, all under one tent. Deals like up to $12,000 in savings on the 2017 F-150. Up to $10,000 in savings on the Kentucky-built 2017 Ford Super Duty. And don't miss up to $4,000 in savings on 2017 Ford Escape.
Ford Trucks, the official trucks of UK Athletics. Available now at Paul Miller Ford. Shop now at paulmillerford.com.
When it comes to breast health, early detection is your best protection. That's why Kentucky One Health provides fast and safe screening mammograms. For peace of mind, schedule a mammogram today.
They keep the offense on the field on 4th and 3. Uncovered is Tyree Cleveland, and now he's in a foot race.
That's something that can't happen.
Wide open, touchdown Florida. For the second time tonight, Kentucky gets caught napping. Heartbreaking in the Commonwealth.
Well, I was here for the Bluegrass Miracle game years ago and asked around the press box today, and the folks around here say that the loss last Saturday was much more difficult than the Bluegrass Miracle. If that matters to you, but you know, it's painful. We talked to the coaches about that situation. Matt House, the defensive coordinator, said that, we've got 2 guys up in the booth, we have 2 guys on the field. We'll make sure that doesn't happen again. The problem is that it happened.
It happened twice. And it's one of those things where these coaches are sick about it, the players are sick about it, because this is an improved football team, especially on the defensive side of the ball. They're not good enough. Few teams are to overcome, mental lapses like that. That's the discipline element that they've lacked so far.
Back shoulder throw, well played by Kentucky. Jordan Griffin covering Mike Edwards on that coverage. By the way, we haven't mentioned this yet. This is substantial, is that Derek Beatty, perhaps their best cover guy, was a little banged up last week. We didn't know how much he was going to play. It wasn't mentioned in the starting lineups, but he has appeared on the field today.
And he's the best cover man for this Kentucky defense. Mike Edwards is the eraser. He's the playmaker, but Derek Beatty, he's the guy they look to mark up in man-to-man coverage. Big, long cornerback. As you see, the Eagles taking a timeout. And Edwards was on those back-to-back plays to set up this 3rd and long.
Timeout on the field. We'll step aside. 3rd and 9 when we come back.
Real people, steal people. Professionals demand dependability on the job. Homeowners expect long-lasting value. And servicing steel dealers provide friendly, knowledgeable support. Right now, pick your power, fuel, or battery, and get a great value on a steel blower, starting at just $129.95. Get yours now, only at your local steel dealer. Visit steeldealers.com or search STIHL.
I can't believe they charged me this much. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Go to CashNetUSA.com now. If approved, you may get the money you need as soon as tomorrow.
Thanks. Who are you?
I'm CashNetUSA.com. Man.
Apply now at CashNetUSA.com.
Money's on the way with CashNet USA.
Brogan Roback, he has been around the block. He has played a lot of football at Eastern Michigan, and out of our meetings, it was pretty much confirmed that this guy is a super talent, great arm strength, and they love the back shoulder throw.
Yeah, they throw a ton of fades. He's got a great feel for it. The receivers do an excellent job of adjusting to these throws from Roback, and he's a scrambler, a guy that can hurt you with his legs if he escapes the pocket. You can see he's climbing the record books at Eastern Michigan. Coming out of high school, as we mentioned, highly touted. And the guy looks like a quarterback. Even his headshot looks like he would put up big numbers as a passer.
3rd down and 9. Pressure comes. Roback nowhere to go, and he'll be dropped back at the 38-yard line. A loss of 5 on the play. 4th down coming up. First one there was Josh Allen.
Probably one of the best pairs of edge rushers. Now here's Allen, and he's just going to edge rush. Denzel Ware is going to be coming from the opposite side as well. And they got the pincer thing going. Where are you going to go, Brogan? He ended up flushed right into the waiting arms of an interior pass rush. Josh Paschal as well on the inside. And Josh Allen had a good season last year. 8.5 sacks. Already on 2nd in the conference in quarterback sacks this year.
Line drive punt will sail out of bounds at the 24-yard line. Monday at 7 o'clock Eastern, Greg McElroy, Marcus Spears. If you don't know by now, you need to go check this show out. SEC Network football show called Thinking Out Loud. Those 2 guys will break it down for you. It's also streaming live on the ESPN app. You can get involved, too, through social media and call-ins. It's every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern on the SEC Network. So 1st down and 10. Ball sits just inside the 25-yard line. And Saheem King just got eaten up for a loss of 3.
Well, we've got new center in there. Drake Jackson, a guy that they're looking to get answers because of some of the issues they've had at center with the snap. So this is going to be a combination block right up to the 2nd level. And Drake just gets too buried in on the down lineman. Great job that time on the downhill shoot by Kyle Rackwell.
Lynn Bowden takes the Wildcat snap, and he'll get it out to the 26. Gain of 5. So already we've seen a reception by Lynn. Now a rush. Threw one last week. You can kind of see him maybe evolve into a Randall Cobb type as the season and his career unfolds.
No question. Good kick returner. You know, a guy that can throw. Obviously, he's a talent. He's from Michigan, running down that sideline to get a timeout. But Eddie Grant said, you know, he's going to expand that Wildcat package after last year. And it became almost a necessity, really, offensively. But they've gotten away from it a little bit more. That doesn't mean that they haven't built more pieces into it. Different faces that will take Wildcat snaps. We just mentioned Lynn Bowden. He'll line up back there and take a direct snap. He's attempted a pass. Saheem King, same thing. A little bit of a change up from what we saw a season ago, because this was what we saw most of it. Steven Johnson would motion out of the pistol, and then there would be a direct snap to Benny Snell out of the Wildcat. And they like that power run look to be able to get downhill quickly, and you pick up a blocker in that regard. You got another gap that you have to defend defensively. But what they've done at Kentucky is they've expanded that role. It's not just snaps to Benny Snell. They're getting Lynn Bowden back there, different faces, and consequently, you can threaten the defense differently. Lynn Bowden was a quarterback in high school a year ago. You take a look at play caller Eddie Grant. He's a guy that can get very creative offensively.
On third down, trying to be creative here. Pocket collapses. Johnson trying to run for it. He's got some Eastern Michigan defenders right in his way. A gain of 5. Rockwall will bring him down, and that'll make it a 4th down situation. And here comes the Wildcat punt team.
Johnson came up. Looked like he was a little bit rattled again, limping a little bit. Excellent pursuit by Kyle Rockwall. If there's a better name for a linebacker, I don't know what it might be. The last name's Rockwall.
Doherty back to return this punt. He'll field it and be dropped immediately. 40-yard punt, no return. Good special teams work coming from Kentucky as Charles Mouche makes the play.
Well, Doherty's going to field these punts. I mean, we haven't seen him call for a fair catch. Thinking he might be able to wiggle upfield quickly. Great job by Mouche getting down there in coverage and getting an immediate tackle. Nice field position flip. Another player on this Kentucky roster from Ohio. They've done a great job recruiting that state. 34 Wildcats that hail from Mark Stoops' home state. They spent a lot of time over there recruiting players into this Kentucky program.
Brogan Roback, also from the state of Ohio. He'll line up in that pistol formation. Quick handoff straight up the middle. Brett Turner gets the carry. Gain of 4. But Kentucky has really branched out into these hotbeds of football. They've always attacked Georgia over the years. But 34 players from Ohio, you can tell that that is certainly a point of emphasis.
I mean, even more than the home state of Kentucky. I mean, they've known that they had to recruit outside of the state boundaries. But that's quite a big haul from the state of Ohio, a very talent-rich football state.
30 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Roback looks, and finally swings it out. Brett Turner nowhere to go. Good team defense from the Big Blue, only a gain of 1.
Nice coverage downfield. Roback didn't really have anywhere to go with this football. Ended up just checking it down to see if you could get some additional yardage after the catch. And once again, Kentucky doing a good job on 1st and 2nd down to make these challenging 3rd downs to try to convert. Eastern Michigan hasn't had a ton of success. They've already converted 1 in this game. Kentucky's doing a good job setting up these optimal 3rd down scenarios.
Eastern Michigan got off to a great start. A sack that caused a fumble that led to that touchdown pass of 20 yards. But Kentucky answered right back on a 75-yard drive, and we are tied at 7.
They used to laugh at us.